Okay, making your first 100k online will be by far the hardest part of your entire journey. I mean, the reason is because you've got no proof of concept, you've got no business model that's taken off yet, and you don't really know whether the thing you're doing is actually going to work. So what I wanted to do in this video specifically was give you 5 things to focus on, because there's a lot of noise out there, there's a lot of videos, people tell you to do this and other people to tell you to do the complete opposite. So I wanted to give you just 5 things that if you do these 5 things, you will succeed and make your first 100 grand online. Now, it's important you watch to the end because you could do 4 of these 5 things, but if you don't do the final one, then it won't work. So let's get into this. I'm going to quickly make myself a bit smaller and get into the whiteboard. So the first thing, literally going to dive straight into this. Make sure you like and subscribe. The first thing is your ability to communicate. Now, it sounds really simple. Communicate. Now, it sounds really simple, but you'd be surprised how many people don't do this. Now, think about whoever you look up to. So your favorite influencer or your favorite person in history. Now, I want to ask yourself a question. Were they using their hands to make money or their mouths? You'll find that they were probably using their mouth to make money. And it's the exact same with what you need to do to make your first 100 grand. If you're trying to use your hands, you're restricted in your ability to resonate. Let me repeat that. If you are only using your hands to try to make money, then you are restricted in your ability to resonate and to gain trust with your ideal clients. So communication is everything. Business is just relationships. And it's really hard to build good relationships if you aren't able to communicate. Now, this is honestly probably what I would focus on more, because you look at your favorite people and you see them making a bunch of money, and then you don't do what they do, but rather what they tell you to do, which is not what they're doing. So it just makes zero sense. And to be honest, if you can just get good at communicating, that's why I love Loom so much, which is like a screen recording software. What I'm using right now to record this video is because it allows me to get my point across. It allows me to build trust with you watching this right now and to build a relationship between you. So that is the first point, and this is by far probably the most important, as well as just building your brand. So communicating allows you to build your brand, allows to find people along the same journey as you. And the best part about having a personal brand isn't actually the clients you get from inbound. That is amazing, but the best part is the network and the talent you attract. Because in the last video, I told you that success is attraction, not chasing. So by building a brand, you're going to attract amazing talent, people who want to work with you and who work really hard for you, and also a network of people where you can share ideas. And that is going to be the biggest value you get from building your brand. The point 2, so the second one is going to be, resonance. So once again, this is hard if you aren't able to communicate well. Now, resonance is simply saying to your niche that, look, I know you've got a problem with this, let me solve it. So it's literally like building trust. And it's hard to build trust when you're using your hands or you're writing an email. Yes, it works, but you'll still need to get on a call and actually have conviction. So that's why, even if you're introverted, I still recommend running with the agency model or coaching business, because it will allow you to get out of your comfort zone and become extroverted. And that's something you need to work on, because you can't just go through life being introverted. I was very introverted when I started. However, I soon learned that I couldn't just stay that way. Otherwise, I was going to be broke probably for a long time. So yeah, that's really important. And this sort of links to another thing, which is sticking with the same thing. So I see so many people who have shiny object syndrome. They switch between affiliate marketing, the agency model, SMMA, they dropshipping. Like, there's just so many different things they're trying to do, and it will never work because you're diversifying your attention so goddamn much that you'll never truly become good at one thing. So if you stick with one thing for a long enough period of time, a year, 2 years, 5 years, that will allow you to resonate, because you'll learn more and more about the industry you're working in, and you'll be able to communicate much better. So they go hand in hand, but you cannot keep swapping. If you keep swapping, you'll never succeed. It may seem like the grass is greener on the other side, but I promise you, it is not. It really isn't. Every business model is different in its own way. You need to just stick with one and it will work in the long run. Don't switch. So really important. The third one is going to be, your ability to endure pain, because most people, the reason they never make their first 100 grand online, put this right here, and they never make 100k is because they are comfortable. Now, what I mean by this, I don't mean like you're sitting down right now being comfortable. I mean that you're not spending the energy on the right tasks. Most people, they stick with things that are familiar to them. They don't want to do things that cause pain or suffering. So it's very easy to win if you can actually do whatever scares you the most in your business. So a good question to ask yourself is, what scares you the most? And the reason the thing that scares you the most is going to cause the most growth is because the brain and body does not like change. If you were any good at biology, you would understand homeostasis, and that the body likes to stay at a regular temperature. So when we put ourselves in difficult situations, of course the brain and body is going to resist. But what that tells us is that those activities are the best for seeing the most amount of growth. So if you can generally just sit down for 2 hours a day and do something that is really uncomfortable, whether it's taking sales calls, whether it's creating content, whether it's calling people, you're going to see so much more progress in your business, I promise. Really important. And if you can do that over a period of time, it's going to get easier. So just like going with a gym, or just like doing something in which you've never done before, it's hard at first, but every time you do it, it becomes easier and easier. So like recording this video right now, most people would procrastinate and they would get a bit of resistance when trying to record a YouTube video. Whereas for me, it's totally normal and I don't even feel anything because I've posted so many times before. Or likewise, getting on a sales call, that doesn't scare me anymore because I've had over 1,000. Whereas when I started, I remember how nervous I was and it was terrible. I was literally not shaking, but I was so anxious when I started. It was ridiculous. So just by doing what scares you and consistently doing that day in and day out, you're going to build up a tolerance to it, and eventually your day should feel weird if you don't do something that is somewhat of pain. Now, that's really important. The fourth one is going to be systems. So you need to build systems, whether it's a content system, an outbound system, an inbound system, a sales system. You get the point. You need to build SOPs, standard operating procedures, around certain things. So for example, let's look at a content system. Let's look at someone like Dan Coe, who makes millions a year. How does he do it? Well, leverage. Very simple. What he does is he spends a few hours once a week and he puts that into some type of content asset, whether it's like an email newsletter, and then he's written a long email newsletter. He can take certain parts of that newsletter, put it into tweets. He can then put the tweets into Instagram carousels. He can then take the Instagram carousels and turn that into YouTube ideation. So now he's got topics. And then once he's posted a YouTube video, he can then create that into shorts. So he's created a system around content, and that's what you need to do. So that's just one example. There's obviously different mediums around it. So for example, I could create this video. I could then have some type of audio transcript, put that into a long thing, put that as an email newsletter, or turn that into tweets. And I could also put this right now, what I'm recording, onto Spotify to get more attention. So you get the point. You basically need to just have a system around what you're doing. If you're doing cold calls, you can still create systems. I know people who just record themselves cold calling, post that to YouTube, and that is another form of a system, because even if they don't get any meetings in that 1 hour cold calling session, they're still probably going to get a lot of views on YouTube. So they're killing two birds with one stone, and that is exactly what you need to do in your, that's a thought process you need to have at least. Really important. I'm trying to think if there's any other systems that I would recommend. Once you get a bit of momentum, as I explained in the last video, everything's going to be easier. Your frequency is going to be higher. You're going to have a higher vibration. You're going to just spiral into a never-ending amount of success, hopefully. But just getting your foot off the ground because you've got no momentum is so goddamn hard. Whereas if you can just stick at it, like what I said here, do the painful things, and then create systems around these things, and communicate in the midst of it, then you're going to be chilling, and you will get there eventually. It may not take a month, but if you do it for a couple of years, you will get there. So yeah, the fifth one is going to be sacrifice and being alone. Now, just by not going out, you're going to give yourself such an advantage when it comes to making a lot of money. And this also links to this thing that I like to, I don't know what on earth that is, but good versus hard. Like what I explained with the pain, right? If something's good today, then that's going to mean that your future is going to be hard, more often than not. Whereas if today was hard, that's here, then your future is probably going to be easy. Delayed gratification. The people who can make 100k are the people who can delay gratification, not get dopamine today, but rather in the future. They do the hard things, knowing that it's not going to make anything today of it, but in a year, 2 years down the line, they're going to get whatever they want in life. Whereas people who don't make 100k, they do what's good today, and then it makes their future really hard. And that's just how it works. So whether it's the food you want to eat today or the movie you want to watch, if it feels good, you feel happy doing it, cool, it's going to make your future hard. So yeah, that's pretty much the 5 things that you need to focus on. Now, this isn't strategies, and the reason I didn't want to go too much into strategies is because they come and go like the seasons, like winter to summer. They're constantly adapting. So this video will stay relevant for years probably, because if you can communicate just like what your favorite people do, and resonate and stick with the same thing and not become comfortable, obviously you'll get comfortable if you do the painful things, because the pain will start to feel normal, and then you create systems from that whilst you're sacrificing. There's no way this doesn't happen if you give it time, but time is everything. So hopefully you found this video valuable. If you did, just like, subscribe, and if you got into this stage, comment something cool in the comment section. I'll actually reply to all of it, and also give me ideas in the comment section below. But yeah, you can follow my Instagram. I post daily stuff on there if you want more value. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Take care and have an amazing rest of your day.